Good morning. You are now all in the chorus. Congratulations, that was the audition. My name is Charlie Destries, and I'm a member of this wonderful community. It's been about a year and a half since I walked in here quite by accident, and it became a big part of my life, as you are all part of my life, and you've made it so much better. I was in a silo for many years, working out of the house and doing my thing, never really thought I needed anybody, but boy, was I wrong. I really did need you guys. So, thank you. We are so glad that each one of you is here today. If you are a newcomer, we hope you keep coming back and make your spiritual home right here with us. For those of you who have already made UU Amherst your home, we hope you will continue to challenge yourself to grow and discover opportunities to learn and serve. And there's so many of those opportunities here. Children and youth are invited to depart for their activities following the time for all ages. A quiet room for parents and babies, including Poppy, is available through the green and growing space at the back of the chapel. And there is a speaker in the adjoining living room space so that you can still hear the service. Our minister, Reverend Michelle Buhite, is on study leave this week. We are really pleased to welcome to our pulpit, and let's see now, I have the wrong one here, so I'm going to move here. Sorry about that. See, mistakes are really cool because you can do all these wonderful things up here to pretend like you know what you're doing, and you won't know the difference. So we are really pleased to welcome to our pulpit UU Amherst's own Kim Diana Connolly, and we're so excited to have you. Kim and her beloved children, Tate and Simon, did I say that right? Yeah. Have been members of UU Amherst since 2010. Kim Diana has served our community in various ways, including in the Old Faith Development Wing and on the Nominating and Leadership Development Committee. Kim Diana is also active in the UUA Central Eastern Region Summer Institute on its Committee on Ministry and has attended the UUA General Assembly as a delegate for our congregation multiple times. She was elected in 2023 to serve on the UUA Board of Review, and next year she will be co-chairing the GA Covenant Team in Baltimore. By day, she is a law professor at SUNY University of Buffalo, teaching future lawyers about ethics and belonging and law, as well as a licensed lawyer working for justice for those who really can't afford a lawyer. Kim Diana's personal word of the year for 2024 is belonging. Boy, that is an important word. Here's your weekly reminder. For those of you gathered in the chapel, I urge you to either place your phone on airplane mode, I love this paragraph, or turn it off completely to free up bandwidth. And it's really true. I mean, there are people out there who are watching this service from their homes, but without the right amount of Wi-Fi signal, it breaks up, and people can't hear my beautiful voice, and so it's a real problem. But don't worry, we know that you shut off your phones during the service, but if you don't, we have electronic means of knowing who you are, and there will be words later, but not now, because right now it's a friendly reminder. So right now I'd like to introduce Kim Diana for some opening words.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Kim Diana, and I'm your not minister today. I'm going to take the time to offer a visual description for all y'all today. I'm a standard height, upper middle-aged white woman with dark blonde hair that falls below my shoulders. I wear glasses. I'm delighted to be wearing one of my lawyer suit jackets with a She-Hulk shirt underneath. I offer this visual description to be inclusive to those present right now with us or online or who will be watching later. My pronouns are she, they, and that's your choice. So we are going to, I'm like in charge of I'm in charge of this. So the belonging, this is a wonderful, wonderful poem from an Irish poet called For Belonging. And I really like this poem to open us to think about belonging. And we're going to talk about belonging and She-Hulk and other women lawyers, but let's just focus on belonging right now. May you listen to your longing to be free. May the frames of your belonging be generous enough for your dreams. May you arise each day with a voice of blessing whispering in your heart. May you find a harmony between your soul and your life. May the sanctuary of your soul never become haunted. May you know the eternal longing that lives at the heart of time. May there be kindness in your gaze when you look within. May you never place walls between the light and yourself. May you allow the wild beauty of the invisible world to gather you and you embrace you in belonging. Thank you very much.
Excuse me, we're working from 4 different forms here, so I'm going to ask you, Kim Diana. So,
Nope. Yeah, I did, but I'm fine. Just did that because I was up there.
oh,
You got it.
okay.
Your land acknowledgement.
Got it. Thank you.
We've not rehearsed, and I changed some things after Michelle worked really hard on having perfect slides. Last night, it's me.
And I was so good last night, I read everything, but... oh, thank you, Poppy. I appreciate it. So, as we gather, we acknowledge that our church is built on very holy ground, land that was nurtured and cultivated by those who occupied it before us. So we offer a libation as our giveaway as we honor the struggle of all people seeking justice and peace. We seek the courage and wisdom to heal the wounds of the past and build a better future with all our neighbors. We gather at this chalice, a symbol that collectively calls us to be radically heroic, embodying and embracing love, seeking to understand how to deploy power towards justice, inclusivity, and equity, creatively adapting to, and when needed, pursuing change within our justice and other systems in ways that bend them toward increased belonging for all, deepening the magic that nurtures and expands the beloved community. Please join me in our chalice lighting words. We gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning in celebration of the life we share together. We are indeed a beloved community, a gathering of people who have chosen to journey together, to encourage one another, and to be part of something important and life-changing, and really can be. Because we aspire to be such a people, we make bold promises about how we will be with one another. Whether today is your first time, or you've made UU Amherst your longtime home, you're invited to share in our sacred promise. Together we promise to gather in compassionate community to celebrate diversity of thought and unity of spirit, and to seek wholeness for ourselves, our children, and our world. Our song of intention this morning can be found in the gray hymnal, number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth. The lyrics will be projected up front. If you are reading the text from the hymnal, please note that some of the lyrics have changed in the last verse to make it more inclusive. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing along. Give it everything you've got.
And since we're doing 155, the lyrics will be very different. 155, Circle Round for Freedom. Gregory, can we start over? And could you really bust out the melody? Thank you. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned. Circle round for release, circle round the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole.
Each week, we bring our whole selves into this sacred time, our joys, our concerns, our sorrows, our anxieties. The table where we gather is at the center of this space, a symbol for the community that is the heart of UU Amherst. I invite you to come forward and place a stone or shell on the table labyrinth in recognition of all that you bring and all that you are. May we remember that we are called to heal and bring love to the broken places. I place a stone in final recognition of the joys. Yep, okay. Yep. I'll get this eventually, folks. It's my first time.
Come on up and do your stones. Thank you.
Sorry about that. So, are you doing this now? I'll do it. I'm just wondering if that's still okay. Great. So. I place a final stone in recognition of the joys, concerns, and sorrows of those who are participating online. You are embraced by this community. All the things that are on your mind, the things that you worry about, the people you miss because they're gone, folks who are sick, people you're really concerned about, this stone is for them. And all the things that you are looking forward to, all the wonderful things in your life that you are hoping to happen, I placed a stone for those. And because I'm an animal person, all of our pets, our dogs, cats, birds, may they all do fantastic as well on our beautiful planet. So let's share a few breaths as we expand the circle to include those who may not be present, but whom we carry in our hearts. We bring into our circle of love and care those who are ill, those who are in pain, those who are lonely, those who are overwhelmed and feeling lost, and those who have been wronged. Take a deep breath, and whatever those things hit you, think about it, and then let it go. We are part of a web of life that makes us one with all humanity, one with all the universe. We are grateful for the miracle of consciousness that we share, the consciousness that gives us the power to remember, to love, to care. May it ever be so in our lives. Amen and blessed be. And now for our Spirit of Life song. Or a different one.
10:53. And I have the music again, so you got to sing loud, because when I bring the music, you know I don't know it. Oh, please rise as you are able. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? Could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. Could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? Could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle, and how deeply you're connected to my soul? Yep.
Getting lost.
Nope, we're good.
We're good. We're past that. We're here. Wow. Man, I tell you.
Charlie, you're doing great.
Yeah, no, I'm doing actually really well.
You're doing very well. You're doing better than I would have done. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Katie, the Director of Faith Development. For those who don't know me, my pronouns are she and her. Today, we're talking about something really, really exciting, thanks to Kim Diana, superheroes. Woo! Who loves superheroes? Bowers, I'm looking at you. I know you love superheroes. Yeah, you love superheroes. So let me ask you a question. What makes a superhero? You know, they're strong, brave, they always try to help others. But what if I told you that you can be a superhero too? Not with super strength or flying powers, but with something even better, by the power of using responsibility, care, and safety. These superhero powers that I'm talking about today are also the values of our whole lives, what we commonly call OWL and UU. This is a Unitarian Universalist program that teaches us to be caring, respectful, and responsible people. It's like a superhero school, but instead of fighting villains, we learn how to make the world a better place by how we treat others and ourselves. Let's look at 2 superhero qualities that we can all use by practicing OWL values. Do you see how I kind of bogarted the superhero and OWL? First, every superhero has the power of responsibility. For those who don't know what responsibility is, it's when you take care of things, like doing your chores or helping out when someone needs you. But it's also about being responsible for your own choices, how you act, and how your actions affect other people. OWL teaches us that we're responsible for making decisions that keep ourselves and others safe. If you know you can help someone or stop someone from getting hurt, you can use your responsibility superpower to make the right choice. Just like superheroes, we make a promise to ourselves to do what's right, even when it's hard. Also, every superhero has a deep sense of self-respect. They believe in themselves, and they know they deserve kindness and care. In OWL, we learn that we all deserve to be treated with respect, not just by others, but by ourselves too. This means taking care of our body, our feelings, and our minds. It's about being kind to ourselves when things are tough and remembering that we are important and valuable. Just like a superhero, you have to take care of yourself if you want to keep taking care of others. Our Whole Lives is a lifespan curriculum, but this coming fall we'll be offering sessions for K through 1 and 4 through 6. If you're interested in OWL program, or if you have family members or friends that might be interested, we're offering an information session on September 8th after service. That's 1 week from now after service, right here in the chapel. And remember, when you respect yourself, it's easier to show respect for others too. You might not have a superhero cape, but you have the power to make a world a better place by just being a caring and kind person. And now,
speaking of superheroes, Now we're going to dismiss the children and youth to their activities.
Go in love, our hearts go with you. Go in joy, our hopes go too. Learn in love and grow in wisdom. Shine your light in all you do.
Good morning again. Today's sermon is an update to a sermon that I offered at Summer Institute, Central Eastern Region Summer Institute of the Unitarian Universalist Association. And I am going to get to superheroes, I promise. But first we're going to talk a little about belonging. Because you heard that's my word of the year, you know. You know what? Also, a friend of mine said, hey, where did belonging come from? This is like newfangled word. So I looked it up. The earliest known use of the word belonging in the way that we're kind of using it today, not like something you own, but belonging this way, is from the early 1600s per the Oxford English Dictionary. So it's not a newfangled word. So Charlie's going to help me because I'm going to ask you all what belonging means to you. What does belonging mean to you? Raise your hand. I have friends out there who are going to help me out.
Am I missing hands? Oh, there we go.
Cheryl's going to help me out.
It's being part of a group that has a common mission.
Group that's got a common mission. Yay. Other ideas?
Being part of a family who rescues your car.
Are we hearing okay on the mic? Hello, hello. Oh. Well, who else has got a hand? Yeah, Phil. Pretend this works. Just talk really loud.
All right, not a problem. As a fellow professional musician, belonging to me is a form of compatibility with the people with whom I work. Thank you. And belonging really is a matter of finding who you have the most in common with and being able to bounce ideas off each other. Thank you.
Thank you.
Suzanne.
One more.
Belonging to me is being with family, friends, people that we've chosen, where we have a safe space, where we can be who we are and we're simply accepted by them. And then you feel like you belong.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Charlie, for helping us think about what belonging means to us in the room. So it turns out that a lot of people think about what belonging means in many different professional disciplines. Myriad scholars research about it, and emerging research shows new depths of thinking have emerged kind of really loudly in the era of us really focusing on anti-racism and then enhanced by the COVID era. So I'm going to read you some things from 2022 that Dr. Kellyanne Allen, an Australian scholar, and some colleagues. I actually talked about Dr. Allen in my April sermon. She worked belonging, a review of conceptual issues, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm going to read to you a short excerpt from her more recent work, A Need to Belong, a deep dive to the origins, implications, and future of a foundational construct. No, just a deep dive. She made a deep dive. Here's a quote that I think is relevant and kind of goes a little bit beyond what we just talked about for our work of belonging, and kind of leads into the role of lawyers and superheroes in thinking about belonging. Belonging, conceptualized broadly as a fundamental human need, is a complex construct due to its multifaceted components, predictors, and outcomes. A brief synthesis of the bulk of the work that has been done on belonging might read, belonging is good. The absence of belonging, that is bad. I'm actually quoting from a scientific journal. Indeed, most of the research literature before 1995 really did not go much further than this. A step change took place when two leading social psychologists suggested that belonging is not only good, but the desire to belong is a deeply rooted human motivation that underpins from our ancestral origins and permeates our thoughts and feelings and behavior. Belonging, however, unequivocally painted in positive terms by contrasting it to the awkward, imperfect contronym, not a word I use all the time, not belonging, or to notions of social isolation, ostracism, or rejection. And then they go on to say, potential ill effects of belonging can be highlighted if we consider the situations in which some groups of people forge a sense of belonging by othering members of other groups. And so they go on to explore how belonging can be good, but belonging can also be challenging. And it can be particularly challenging, complexities, now this is not their quotes, now this is me. Belongings can be particularly challenging and come to the fore with practicing lawyers and judges who have to figure out within the justice system what belonging might mean there, and wrestling with the intersection of belonging and power. So that's our setup. I'm not going to read to you anything else with footnotes. Well, except that's actually a little not true because I've got a little bit of research, but I'm not going to read the footnote part. Anyways, so here's the main thing that you all came for. She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. Who has seen the She-Hulk series on TV? There are no hands up for those of you who can't see. Oh, wait, one hand up in the back. Yay, I'm not the only one. Anybody read the Marvel comic books from She-Hulk starting in the 70s? Yep, okay. Couple? All right, so this is brand new to a bunch of you. Oh my goodness. I bet you're gonna go figure out how to watch this after, because you're gonna figure out how cool this lawyer Hulk person is. So, this is the opening line. This is She-Hulk, and I'll tell you where it came from. This is the pictures of it going from back in the 70s all the way to now. This is the opening line of the Marvel series, and one of the reasons that my son decided I needed to watch it, Simon, who some of you know. What is the responsibility of those with power? Do they merely have an obligation to refrain from the misuse of that power, or do they have a duty to protect those without it? Yeah. Jennifer Walters is a character who's just in these comic books being She-Hulk. Started in the 70s with the savage She-Hulk. She's a woman who's a highly skilled lawyer who becomes a superhero totally by accident and then has to figure out how to belong and how to achieve justice in this new realm. She's actually described as one of Marvel's most notable and powerful female superheroes. And since her original introduction in comics, the character's been featured in all sorts of Marvel licensed comics, including the t-shirt that I'm wearing, and lots of other spaces, including being made into this wonderful series that you can find on Disney+. Or if you really don't have Disney+ and want to invite yourself over to my house, you can watch it together. I always like rewatches. It's really fun, with the actress Tatiana Maslany. So Jen Walters says this line. She was actually practicing for a closing argument. And then she does this weird thing that actually started in the comics. She closes the door to her office, and she turns to us, the watchers, and breaks the fourth wall. She did this in the comics too. She talked to the readers, and then she talks to the watchers and said, hey, it's true I'm a Hulk, and I'm guessing you're not going to be able to focus on this fun lawyer show until you know all about it. And so she goes, and she starts talking about this. The origin flashback, Jen, the lawyer, is on a road trip with her cousin Bruce Banner, the original Hulk. A lively car conversation is rudely interrupted by evil beings, of course, and so Jen swerves to avoid this big thing that was coming at her, and the car tumbles into a ravine, and emerging from the wreckage, she pulls her cousin Bruce out. She's got some scrapes, Bruce has got some damage, and some of his gamma-irradiated blood falls into an open wound, and all of a sudden, he's turning into a Hulk, and we see reflected in the window, she's turning into a Hulk, and she runs off, and then there's a whole bunch of storyline that's cute but not relevant to what we're talking about, and she's doing this. And so then we flash forward for purposes of us to the next day, where Jen's cousin, Bruce, the Hulk, he's like, well, you've turned into a Hulk, so I have to teach you how to be a Hulk. And he's thinking back to when he became a Hulk. And so he creates this like big, indestructible, huge person-sized container and suggests that she draw upon anger so that she can turn into a Hulk, and then he could teach her how to deal with being a Hulk and coming back from being a Hulk. And he then tries to make her angry. And she's just standing there not getting angry and she's getting a little pissed. But, sorry if I said that on, sorry, she's getting a little miffed. But she's not turning into a Hulk. And then he's getting more and more, she's not turning into a Hulk. She looks at him and she's like, hey, being scared and angry and not giving into it is just being a woman. Turns out that She-Hulk is something that regular Hulk does not possess, the ability to choose when she transforms into a Hulk. Because she's had a lifetime of code, especially becoming a lawyer, a lifetime of code switching and controlling your emotions, simply because she lives in lawyers as a female. Also true of other marginalized communities. We're going to come back to She-Hulk because she is super cool. But we're going to talk about a few other real-life superhero lawyers. 3 amazing women lawyers who've demonstrated actual examples of heroism and struggles to belong in our justice system. Ada Harriet Miser Kepley, Judge LaDoris Hazard Cordell, and the Honorable Shannon E. Filbert. And you're going to be so excited that you know about them. I hope. Otherwise, just lie to me at coffee hour. Oh, that was my initial reflections. I'm sorry. I did initial reflections on a picture of She-Hulk. There she is in her lawyer suit, because I'm wearing, look at me wearing a matching jacket. Here we are. All right, let's go to item. You can't read this text. I'm sorry. If you want a copy of the text, email me or grab me. I will get it to you. I'm going to tell you the story of this amazing woman. She was born in 1847. She was a women's suffragist, temperance advocate, and a Unitarian minister. And she was the first American woman to graduate from law school. She wrote in her own autobiography, "I like to be at the front of great movements as far as possible." She was born in Ohio, and then she moved to Illinois, where her parents ran a hotel and bookstore, and then she married Henry B. Kepley, a lawyer who encouraged her to pursue this legal career. So she went to what was then called Union College of Law. It's now the hoity-toity Northwestern. And in 1870 became the first woman to graduate from law school. But she couldn't get admitted to practice law because she was a woman, her gender. So our Unitarian ancestor, Kepley, and her husband successfully lobbied for a bill to forbid sex discrimination in the legal profession, and it became law in 1872. But she was a little bored waiting around for it because she'd gone on to all the other things that she was advocating for. So she finally got around to getting her license in 1881, so she was admitted to practice. But she focused mainly on reform issues like women's suffrage, equal rights, and temperance, which was a big thing back then. She had a whole bunch of things that she did. She even faced physical attacks due to her activism. She embraced her attorney role when she ran for state attorney general, using her campaign to promote women's rights. But then she kind of shifted, because it was actually hard to get people to hire you when you were a woman as a lawyer. So she and her husband, they got her ordained as a Unitarian minister in 1892, and she preached for 20 years at a place called the Temple, a church. And then her husband died. And then she struggled financially. She actually moved to a farm. She attempted to write and through agriculture make a living, but she spent her final years a widow in poverty and was deemed eccentric, probably still because she wanted to be a lawyer, right? I wish I could have known this Unitarian Universalist ancestor of ours who just really worked hard to change the world of lawyering. I am sure I could have learned a lot from her. So let's turn to somebody who's still alive. Retired Judge LaDoris Hazard Cordell. That's a picture of her book. If you've not read her book, it's awesome. It's called Her Honor, and she tells stories, and she has an amazing storytelling approach. She's this distinguished legal professional. She retired as a judge in 2001, but she's been an advocate for social justice since forever. She was the first African-American woman to sit on the Superior Court for Northern California and made significant contributions to the judiciary and the community. She graduated from Stanford Law School, and she served as assistant dean at Stanford Law School, and then one day they needed somebody in the municipal court, and somebody said, hey, I wonder if LaDoris is busy. So they invited her to come down and just do an appearance and like run a court thing, and she did really well. She tells the story in the book of the first case involving two black women that were fighting about something that she brought herself into the conversation in making a decision that helped both of them come to peace. And then she stayed doing that because she enjoyed it and she was really respected by the people. And so in 1988, in 1982, she was appointed to the municipal court formally, and then in 1988, she was elevated to Superior Court. She served with distinction until she retired in 2001. California elects people to the courts, so she was a little bit revolutionary in not making people very happy, so getting reelected was always really hard. She's renowned for her work in the working on the rights of marginalized community, an outspoken critic of the criminal justice system's disparities. She would just talk about it and get in trouble. She's worked tirelessly to promote equity and fairness, and in her work at Stanford, where she moved on to be vice provost, she focused on diversity and student affairs. She also is a talented artist and pianist, which I just think is fun to know. She tells the stories of this in her book as well. She's also a proud member of the LGBTQ+ community. She lives with her partner and has a loving and supportive family. And her openness about her sexuality has been a role model for many since she was really open about it when she was open about all the things that were wrong with the justice system. She stayed within her role, being a judge, but she was right on the edge of making sure that she did everything she could for communities that needed her. I would love to have dinner with her and figure out how she could be in so many spaces and still stay a judge. She is amazing. Read her book. And then, last but not least, is somebody who's local here, who you may never have heard of, Judge Shannon E. Filbert. She graduated from the University at Buffalo School of Law, a place that honors me by letting me be a professor there. Judge Filbert, before she was Judge Filbert, back when she was just Shannon Filbert, not just, where she was the wonderful Shannon Filbert, spent years as a legal aid attorney for children. She won election to the West Seneca Town Justice in 2015, and then in 2018, she was promoted to serve as a confidential law clerk to then family court judge Lisa Block Rodwin, an amazing woman in and of herself. She was, at that point, the only law clerk with a physical disability in the entire Western New York court system at all. And she's a quadriplegic. At the age of 41, this past January, she had what she described as her defying gravity moment when she became Erie County's first and newest family court judge. She called the moment the culmination of 25 years of breaking down barriers and facing obstacles head first. She is the only quadriplegic serving a full-time judgeship in New York State. She describes her paralysis herself as that a little bit better than late actor Christopher Reeve. She can breathe on her own and shrug her shoulders. She's not hesitant to talk about being a quadriplegic. As far as she's concerned, it's a fact of life. She says, there are always days when I'll be down, but honestly, I've got a great attitude. It is what it is. Nothing I can do to change it. How does she do this? She makes extensive use of voice-activated technology, maintains a rigid organizational system, relies on an assistant to serve her with her legal needs, but also to do everything from using the bathroom and dressing to taking a drink of water. She has rewired her brain to do something that my brain doesn't do. She remembers everything important, because writing things down is not an option. She has an iron trap memory for family law. She tells the story of how this happened. There was a car accident on icy roads when she was in high school. She was in Atlanta for 5 months in rehab, and she had an aunt who came in and tutored her so she could catch up with her schoolwork and graduate on time. Her parents moved into a handicapped accessible house, and her mom informed her, you can either keep feeling sorry for yourself or do the work necessary to achieve her life's goal. Judge Filbert, living proof of what this year's Ware lecturer at the UUA General Assembly wrote, who wrote the book Loving Our Own Bones, Disability, Wisdom, and the Spiritual Subversiveness of Knowing Ourselves Whole. Dr. Belser writes, disability is an ordinary fact of life, an essential part of my being. Like most identities, it's a mixed bag, sometimes painful and frustrating, sometimes flush, with unexpected joy. If you want to know me, you have to know my disability. It's a core of who I am, how I experience the world. So again, I keep giving you book assignments, right? But I'm encouraging you to read Loving Our Own Bones. It's an amazing, amazing book, profound book, and it's beautifully written. So after her swearing in last January, Judge Filbert says, there's always, this is a quote from her, there's always going to be a stigma attached to a disability. It's unfortunate but true. I just think I'm proving that stigma may be incorrect, and that just because somebody has a disability doesn't mean they're not capable of doing the job just as good as an able-bodied person. So I think I can prove that to people, and hopefully will inspire some people who might think that they could not move up in the world or get somewhere. We can do it. Judge Filbert does not consider herself a hero or a superhero, but I sure do. Let's actually watch a brief clip of her talking after her induction, if Les can make that happen. Do I switch to the next slide? There we go. Okay, I'm about to go back to She-Hulk, but I'm going to interrupt myself. Sorry. Because, you know who's another amazing, awesome woman attorney? The United States Vice President Kamala Harris. I know we can't talk about her much, but you know what? She's had her own struggles to belong and to achieve justice. So I can't be talking about heroic women lawyers without giving her a shout out. So we're going to return to She-Hulk, okay? You're like, wait, She-Hulk was the thing. But aren't you glad we talked about those other people? Yeah, you are. You probably think, hey, that quote on power is why she thought of her. Some of the other things I told you about her. But it's in fact also something that happened at the end of the series. Again, I want you to go watch this. It's an amazing miniseries. I'm going to tell you about part of the last episode because it is so powerful. I'm not going to spoil it for those of you who are definitely going to watch it, even if you have to come over to my house after this sermon. So I've already told you, this is a weird, weird TV show for many of us because the character's sitting there acting out with all these people, and then all of a sudden turns, talks to us the people who are viewing. So the last episode starts unfolding, and I've been watching this series with Simon, and I was like, whoa. This had felt so unlike most. I have a son who's now 19, and I've watched a lot of Marvel. So it wasn't a typical, I was like, this is a really cool show. It isn't typical Marvel. This is all really good. I'm having a lot of fun. I've sat through a lot of Marvel because I'm a good mother, but it wasn't my jam. And all of a sudden, this last episode is feeling a whole heck of a lot like a Marvel movie ending. I'm like, are you serious? What's going on? It was odd. And in the middle of the episode, Jen Walters looks right at us and says, this doesn't feel right to me. And asks us, does it feel right to you? And I'm like, thank goodness, no, I was really wondering what was going on. And then the most amazing things happened. The pretend actor, human lawyer Jen, turns herself into She-Hulk, walks off the set. She's kind of walking in the outside spaces. And she walks into the writer's room and demands the writers rewrite the episode. Let me say that again. She demands the writers rewrite the episode. They send her to the boss, who allows that rewrite. She-Hulk didn't like what was happening. She took steps to change it. She didn't feel like she belonged in that story, and she changed it. So what have we talked about today? We've talked about a pretend superhero who thinks about power, how it should be wielded, who rejects a story and causes it to be changed. We've talked about Ida Kepley, who fought a system that wouldn't allow her to go to law school and be a lawyer, but sadly was caught up in the reality of the early 1900s as a woman lawyer where she couldn't succeed. We talked about a California judge who accepted that she needed to work within the system, but went to the boundaries, went to the very edges and pushed on them, and is still making good trouble. We talked about the fact that this very January, the first paraplegic to serve as a New York State judge was sworn in right here in Erie County. A true hero who's kept going even when it's hard, and who decided that even though the system didn't look like it was going to let her fit in, she could push it, shape it to make it so that she could fit in. So we talked about belonging and justice being a two-way street. We have to create a sense of belonging for full community, to include others, but we also have to figure out how to fit ourselves in. So I'm going to give you an assignment, I'm a professor, to act on that and talk about that in the real world. But before I do this, I actually am going to do something that I also think is important to belonging. I'm going to stop for a minute and express some gratitude. To me, gratitude is essential to fostering belonging and actually achieving justice in certain cases. So I want to take a minute to express some thanks, because I'm a professor and I give a decent lecture. Sermons are different. So I'm grateful to those who helped me create this sermon experience for you today, starting with the ministry team at Summer Institute, who invited me to give my first version, to Reverend Michelle, who watched the version that I did at Summer Institute and gave me some feedback then. But also in the early summer, I had all these ideas in my head, and she helped me organize them, because I needed a lot of help to help my brain get to organize them. My amazing friend Jeff Wilson, who's the lead pastor at Holy Trinity Lutheran Church, he helped me think through how to do this as a sermon. My pod sisters from the Foz Collective Beloved Conversation Group, a UU group, we've been meeting together since 2022, which apparently is a big year in this sermon for me. We've been talking about unlearning racism, and they let me workshop it with them. Summer Institute and law school and other friends who gave me ideas on either the first version or just my ideas. My beautiful children, Tate and Simon, who've listened to me and let me worry and talk about this. And all of you who are here on a holiday weekend or watching it later, thank you for being here. You've created a space where I feel like I can belong. And I share thanks for all of you, and I love you all. So I'm going to give you your assignment and invite you to do two things this week. Consider the communities that you're in. I mean, this one here, but other communities you're in. How might you work collectively to create space for and a sense of more belonging and justice by reimagining and advocating for true inclusivity, like the people we heard about, the pretend and 3 real lawyers. And then plan actual ways to open your heart, to rethink your place in communities so that you can further weave yourself into a tapestry of justice and belonging and advocating for wonderful spaces for all. Some of you, nerds like me, might even want to take a moment to jot down 1 or 2 ideas before you leave church today. So, thank you all very much for listening to this sermon.
I'm just guessing now, so let's see.
Just a second.
We're here. Very good. Thank you, Kit. Appreciate it. That was great. That was really great. I'm not a Marvel guy. I don't do any of that stuff, but I remember Kim Diana was telling me about this a few weeks ago when she was planning this, and I asked my daughter Brielle about it, who's a big Marvel person, and so she's starting to turn me on to it. It's the superhero concept is wonderful because I think we all do have a little bit of that in each one of us. So our song in response is in the gray hymnal, 131. Is that one right? Is that one good? Love will guide us. The words will also be projected up front. Please rise in body or spirit. Stretch, get up, sing your best. Let's do it. Yeah, that is the right one. Okay, good, thanks. All right. Making time for an offering of gifts and pledges is an act of faith, an opportunity for us to acknowledge the good and hardships in our lives. This congregation exists because of you, the acts of service you engage in, and your generous contributions. Every aspect of congressional life is made possible because of the generosity of members and friends, you. If you'd like to help pass the baskets along the aisles, please come forward now. Oh, Mickey, you have the baskets. Okay, the offering will be greatly received. Thank you. We began our service with the lighting of our chalice, a symbolic act to remind us that each of us is a spark that creates the flame each one of us brings to represent the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of our commitment to bring more compassion and justice to the world. We extinguish the chalice, not to quench the flame, but to return it to individual hearts, strengthened by this time spent together, so that we share our light in the world. Please join me as we extinguish our combined flame and accept this renewed flame in your own heart, that each of us might bring more light and love to a dark and hurting world. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. As our service draws to an end, our service to the world is ready to begin. Let me tell you about some of the opportunities to connect and serve in the days to come. And I know we've got a little bit over today, so I'll move along. We're invited for coffee and conversation directly in the back in the Emerson room, and why don't you join us there for good conversation. There will be a special congregational meeting held on Sunday, September 15th at noon for the purpose of seeking approval for funding for a new heating system for the chapel. Your presentation is really encouraged. Now we're going to hear from a member of the Green Team who will share a bit about their activities and how you can be involved. Right now? By the way, the men's lunch, aka Romeo's, is this Thursday at noon at the Buffalo Brew Pub. Join us for good food and conversation. See Doug Funky for questions.
Hello, friends. Hello. As you probably know, I'm Wendy Scott, and I am on the Green Task Force, and our big project, as you probably know, is the 3rd annual Living Green Festival, which is going to be held on Saturday, the 28th of this month from noon to 6, with all sorts of fun, educational, inspiring activities going on, as well as a green cafe. I'm not going to say too much about that because you probably know a lot about it already, but I am encouraging people to volunteer to help, and that means a 1 or 2 hour session in one of the many activities and functions that are going on. There's a craft tent, there's a need for parking directors, what else? I can't even start to think. So how do you do this? You see me or Laurie, who's got her hand up. There are some posters sitting around. You can go on the UU Amherst website and find out about it. And anybody who's on the Green Team can put on a clip-on tag, which I will be doing directly when I'm finished here. And you can ask us after the service when you're having coffee and goodies in the Emerson room. And I hope to see everybody here, there. Did that make sense? Anyway, save the date and go. And if you want to spread your friendship around and get to know more members of your church community, volunteering is a great way to do that. Right, folks? See you then.
Thanks, Wendy. So the Help Day is the 27th of September, and the festival is the 28th, correct? Yeah.
I'm asking for people to volunteer the 28th.
And the 28th,
The
okay.
27th is setup day.
Okay.
Don't know if that's just for the committee and people.
Okay.
Have any idea, Laurie?
We have help, people that aren't able to help on Saturday, maybe helping us on Friday for setup. Some people are doing.
So Friday setup is also available?
Okay, so Friday or Saturday.
Setup is for Sunday to help take down.
Okay.
Next week is our annual in-gathering service where we begin the new church year by participating in a water communion. If you saved water from your summer activities, or simply pour from your shared pitcher. We mingle our waters together to symbolize the sense of belonging that we experience together. The water communion is both a celebration and a promise. All are welcome. As always, see the church newsletter, The Forward, for information regarding upcoming services and events. And now, please rise in body or spirit as... Sorry? There's another announcement. Oh, there is. I guess Michelle didn't tell you about it. No, that's okay. No, that's all right. This is good.
So I don't have my green jeans on today because Wendy already took care of that wonderful announcement. But like many of you, I wear many hats as part of this church community. And on behalf of the Nominating and Leadership Development Committee, I have the wonderful privilege of telling you we have a full slate of nominees for our 2025 annual meeting in February. And those nominees are, for the Endowment Trust, Eric Grote for a 2-year commitment. He's replacing someone who left that committee early. And also Diane Tucker for a 5-year commitment to Endowment Trust. To the Board of Trustees is Ruth Bowen, and I own Charlie here, for each for 3-year terms. And for the Nominating and Leadership Development Committee, we have Julie Marquis. We had this big thing about how I'm supposed to say her last name, and of course, once she told me, I couldn't remember because I was mixing it up with the old way I said it. So it's Julie and Ellen Mumau for a 2-year term on that committee. Another important piece for all of you is that during this month of September, any voting member of the congregation can also submit a nomination for any one of these groups. And you do that by simply giving the name to a member of Nominating Leadership Committee for us to consider and then again take to the board. This slate's already been approved by the Board of Trustees. And the people on our committee, Jackie Senders is our chairperson, Marlena Rice, Jackie Babka, myself, and Linda Gardner is our liaison from the Board of Trustees. Now you may ask yourself, if you've got a full slate, why are you saying you can submit someone? Well, I've been in the church since 2008, and usually if you get a full slate, we all just cast one vote and accept it because there isn't really any competition. But this is a democracy. So you can put in a name for any one of these positions, and then at the meeting you would have a true vote as to who is going to be selected for that group. So thank you for listening. Go get coffee, because if you're like me, you need to wake up a little. And that's it.
Thanks, Suzanne. And now, please rise in body or spirit as we sing our closing blessing. Remain standing afterwards for the benediction.
Travel light and travel easy till I see you once again. Travel light and travel easy, and remember I'm your friend. May the road rise up
For the benediction, I found something which is from the Cherokee Nation. May your hands be cleansed, that they create beautiful things. May your feet be cleansed, that you might take you where you most need to be. May your heart be cleansed, that you might hear its message clearly. And may your throat be cleansed, that you might speak rightly when words are needed. Have a great week. Go in peace. Be nice to everybody out there.
Well, I changed the stuff at the end.